We expected a wide-open race for the MVP, but it turned out to be a two-man race between Peyton Manning going for his fifth MVP, which would be a record. He already holds the record at 4, and Adrian Peterson. Peterson won it for the first time. He did it, I think, because he took a Vikings team that won 3 games last year and got it into the playoffs. He did it with almost a record-setting single-season rushing record, but he also was just so dynamic in every game. He clearly was the guy who carried the Vikings into the playoffs and back to respectability, and he was doing it coming off of a major knee injury back in December. That's the kind of comeback that nobody expects, that almost no athlete makes, and he's a well-deserving MVP. Well, for Peterson and for Manning, it was a year of the comeback, and Manning wound up winning the Comeback Player of the Year award over Peterson. But Peterson won the MVP, and I think part of that had to do with people seeing him go out last year in December with an injury that people don't come back with that quickly. And then he comes back, and he has the greatest season of his career. This was the most unique award we've ever had in Coach of the Year because it was won by an interim coach. And the reason that happened clearly was that Chuck Pagano of the Colts had leukemia. He went out in September and didn't come back to the last game of the season. Meanwhile, his offensive coordinator, Bruce Arians, took over the job and led the Colts to a 9-3 record. Remember, this is a Colts team that won only 2 games the year before. So Arians not only led them into the playoffs, but he took over in the toughest position you can ever think. He never planned to be a head coach, and nothing was really planned for him to take over. There was no succession that was planned for Arians to go in for Pagano because no one ever expected that to happen. It does happen. Arians steps in, and he does a fabulous job, and there the Colts go, making the playoffs. And Arians clearly turned that into another job. He's now the head coach in Arizona. The Offensive Rookie of the Year category was the most fascinating this year, without question. We've never seen 3 quarterbacks come in like we saw from Andrew Luck and Robert Griffin III and Russell Wilson. We had some great running backs like Doug Martin in Tampa and Alfred Morris in Washington. It was a great class of offensive rookies. The winner, and it wasn't as close as I expected, was RG3. And I think he won it for 2 reasons. Number one, he's the most dynamic player in the NFL, and that includes everybody. I'm not just talking rookies. And the other reason is, I think that his impact on a team like Washington, where the offense was totally revamped and built around his skills, was what swayed our voters. Now, both Wilson and Luck got lots of support, but in the end, I think RG3, and a dynamic type of player he is, was the winner. And hopefully he overcomes his injuries that he suffered in the playoffs and will be able to be that same kind of player next year.